Here, coming at you with another video, and today I am going to be varying from my normal videos of counterpicking, and I'm going to be talking to you about something that I find interesting and that I get kind of a lot of questions about, and that is, as a mid laner, when do I roam? When do I go out of my mid lane, stop farming, and start making plays in other lanes? Well, I'm going to go over this pretty quickly, and I'm going to make sure that you guys understand exactly what to do. So, here we have basically an interactive map of Summoner's Rift. Alright? It's actually really cool. I like this. But the first thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick is warding. Okay, so first of all, you never want to play like super aggressive. Here's your enemy. Here's you. You never want to be like standing up here pushing the wave this way if you don't have proper warding. If you have no idea where the enemy jungler is, then you want to be playing like somewhere around here. You don't want to be all the way up here because they can come and gank you from any way. Now, this is something that I want you guys to please get through your heads, okay? And I want to say this in the nicest way possible, but every single time you go back to base, you need to save money for wards. You need to be buying wards every single time you back. Every single time you need to be buying wards. Let's say you have 250 gold left over. You need to be buying like a pink ward, maybe like a green ward, and then buy some pots. And then go back in the lane. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, where do I place my wards? Well, I don't know, like, the specifics on placing wards, but, like, for, like, what specific position that you're in or whatever, but I can give you a general idea of what you should be doing when warding. Okay, so here's you. You're just coming back in the lane. You've got a pink ward, you've got a green ward, and you just got pots. All right. So let's take a look at this side first. Basically, you're going to be placing a ward on both sides that's going to give you area. So, one thing that I see most often is a player will run up here, they'll stand right here, and they'll drop their ward into the bush right here. Now, this is going to give you vision of this entire bush and maybe from like this corner of the rock to like here. Like this line is about all the vision that it's going to give you right here. That's not going to be sufficient enough vision. I mean, it's good if you're like, you know, centralized, but do you want to put a ward in this bush? Not really. I mean, it's going to give you vision of this area right here, and that's not sufficient enough because the jungler can still come through right here and still gank you. Do I want to place a ward here? That would be acceptable. You can see if the jungler comes and like takes your blue or takes your wolves, you can see him come around here. If he decides that he wants to come through here, you have sufficient vision up to a point, probably about halfway through here. And you can see him coming also from top lane if he decides that he wants to kill like Scuttler or something, and you can see him coming from like top lane. This is a sufficient place to place the ward. But what I would generally do when warding this area right here is I would come up through here, I would walk into this bush, I would go all the way to the end, run across this wall, and I would stand about right here, and I would drop my ward about right there. Now what this is going to do is this is going to prevent the enemy jungler from being able to basically being able to gank you, because you can see him coming from here, you can see him coming from here, and you can see him coming from here. So if he's just taking Raptors or just taking red buff and he decides he wants to come gank you and you have a ward placed right here, you're going to be able to see him coming through here. And similarly, if you're on this side and your opponent is on this side, you need to do the same thing. Come down here, come into this bush, go all the way across, and throw your ward right there. Then you can see your opponent coming from red buff. You can see your opponent coming from wraiths. They're going to gank you. You can see them because you have a ward placed right here. Now, the same thing is, where do I place the ward on the opposite side? So I'm playing down here. I've already placed the ward right here. I can see my jungler coming from this side. Now, where do I want to see my jungler coming from this side? So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the way that the map is positioned. Okay, if you're playing this far up, you want to have as much angles of coverage as possible. So do you want to place a ward here? Probably not. That's in your jungle. So the most you're going to be seeing is your jungler. So here, just X that out. Do you want to place a ward here? That's a pretty good possibility. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can see them coming from around here. You can see if they're trying to get ready for dragon. You can see him coming from this way if he comes too far into the lane. Things like that. I would say that if you were going to place a ward down here, I'd place it somewhere in this bush right here, because you can see him coming from top lane. And also, if you're playing like super aggressive right here, you can see him coming from this way. So I'd place the ward in this bush right here. Alright, now let's get on to the actual topic. Now you have a ward here, you have a ward here, you can see exactly where anybody is. So now you can play as aggressive as you want, play as passive as you want, because you can see from all different angles. Now let's get on to the topic of today, which is when exactly should I roam? So the first thing that I want to point out to you guys is that if you are in the mid lane and you're a champion that has low health, just back. Don't even try to roam. If you're sitting here and you're playing Ahri and you have 25% health and you're low on mana, why would you go all the way down to bot lane and put yourself at risk of dying? You don't have any mana, you don't have any health. Just back. It's not worth running to a different lane just to try to help them. Just go over here or something like that and just go back to base. Buy some more wards, play some more wards, whatever. The only time that you should be roaming as a mid laner is, you have to remember 3 different things. The first thing is, do I have low health? If the answer is yes, go back to base. If you're at low health, go back to base. If the answer is no, then move on to the next thing. The next thing is the minion wave pushing towards the opponent's turret? If the answer is yes, then go on to step 3. If the answer is no, make sure that the wave is pushing towards their turret, and then go on to step 3. So the first thing we've covered is we're at high health. We're at a pretty good sized amount of health. The minion wave is pushing towards their turret, which means that all of your minions are going towards this side, and none of the minions are sitting here trying to kill your minions. Okay, you want all the minions going towards that side. All right, now we have step 3. Step 3 is your lane opponent here? If the answer is yes, stay here. Even if you have proper warding, you have high health, you have the minion wave pushing towards their turret, if your lane opponent is here, stay here. Okay? You don't want your lane opponent following you. You don't want your lane opponent pushing their minions into your turret. If the opponent is here, stay here. Okay? So, if the answer is yes, stay here. If the answer is no, that's the perfect point for you to roam. You're at high health. The minion wave is pushing towards their turret. The lane opponent's gone. You have plenty of time to not waste any time roaming to top lane or roaming to bot lane. You have plenty of time to roam. So the 3 things you have to remember is, I'm at high health. The minion wave is pushing this way. The lane opponent is dead or gone. I have plenty of time to roam, because now I don't have to worry about trying to CS because all the minions are over here. You don't have to worry about your lane opponent because he's gone. And you don't have to worry about like your health because you're at high health. So that's the time where you can start running up here, go into this bush or something like that, and he's standing here, boom, get him. Or similarly, start wandering this way, or you can take a different path. You can go this way, whatever, go through here and just try to kill them. Normally people have vision up to this point right here. So if you come across here, they won't be able to see you if you land in that bush unless they have a ward in there. You could also come from this way if you wanted to, because if they're standing at turret, come from this way and you can dive them if you want. There's anything you can do, but you just have to make sure that your lane opponent is not here and you have high health. Because if you're at low mana and you're at low health, there's no point for you leaving lane and trying to gank another lane. You're just putting yourself more at risk of giving the opponents a triple kill or giving the opponents, you know, a double kill. Just let it be. But yeah, proper warding is extremely important. You need to be warding all the time. You need to be warding. I would say don't even play aggressive if you don't know where the jungler is. If you have no idea if the jungler is here or here or here or, you know, up somewhere up here, then just stay back here, farm the best you can, throw your wards here and here. And that's when you can start playing aggressive. That's when you can start playing up here. Because there's no way the jungler is going to be able to kill you. Because you can see every single possible entrance that the jungler could come. So play aggressive only when you have proper warding, you have high health, things like that. I just wanted to go over this simple thing with you guys and let you guys know when I roam. Another thing is make sure you've got cooldowns and stuff like that. If I'm missing anything... Oh, that brings me to another point that I wanted to get into with you guys real quick. I kind of wanted to make another video about this, but I will touch on it right now. So, especially in Bronze Elo, one thing that I see most people doing is, let's say you've lost all the outer turrets and you only have your inner turrets here, like here, here, and here. You've lost all the outer turrets here, here, and here, and you only have the inner ones left. Now, if your lane opponent on the opposite side is farming up here, and he's just trying to get CS, blah, 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 he starts coming like down towards here, because you know your turret's gone. Let's say all 5 people on your team are right here. Especially in Bronze Elo, one thing I've noticed that people like to do is they like to send all 5 people on the team to try to go kill this one guy. This is the exact opposite of what you should be doing, okay? Now, playing this game, probably send 2 people from your team up to the top lane to kill that guy, or at least force him to back, and send the other 3 people on your team to another turret. Try to take something else. Don't just send everybody on your team to try to kill this one guy. But anyways, I will get into another video on that later on, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Please let me know what you guys think, and have a wonderful day.